What's going on, y'all? Brandon with Selling with the Snyder Group here, and today I'm going to tell you something you probably don't want to hear. Get off Zillow.com. You're probably sitting there right now and you're like, hey, Brandon, I use Zillow regularly. I'm actually looking at buying a house right now, and Zillow's right there, and it's easy. Well, for probably the past 6 months or so, we've been hearing rumors that have now come to fruition, and they are true. Ibuyers, Zillow, Redfin, Open Door, places like that are now getting caught for artificially inflating the real estate market. Now, I get it. It's convenient. It's easy to use. I use Zillow. But we recently heard a report, and this is from a Las Vegas real estate agent, that Zillow was inflating prices in his area in particular, but across the country. Because what Zillow does is they will go in and offer a cash offer for a property. And a lot of people in the past year and a half have been like, wow, that's a really good deal. They're offering more than what my agent said I could list it for. Well, what Zillow has been doing for the past year and a half, and probably longer, is buying homes in the area like they normally do, selling them. They're buying them at a high rate, selling them even higher. So they're artificially making comps higher than what they're supposed to be. Right? Home is only what someone will pay for it. But what Zillow and these iBuyers are doing is coming in, offering a well above asking offer of what you would normally list it at with a real estate agent. Then they're going and selling that house for even more. They're creating their own comps. Like, okay, this is a little concerning. Here's why. What Zillow is doing, whether you sell with them or your neighbor sells with them, they're farming neighborhoods and creating their own comps in these neighborhoods. So you go on Zillow.com, you log in, you say, hey, I want to sell my house to you. What they're doing is they're taking your data. They're saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we're going to give you $250 for your house. You decide not to sell it with them. It doesn't matter. They're going to go market towards your neighbors now. And somebody's going to sell their house to Zillow. And then what's going to end up happening is they're going to continue to inflate and inflate and inflate. So this came out this morning. Yahoo Finance said, hey, Zillow's done buying for the year. And I imagine a lot of iBuyers are going to follow suit because they're playing catch up. They bought a ton of properties. They started to inflate the market. And now some of these homes are too expensive for the average first-time home buyer to purchase. Your average home buyer, first time in the Houston market, is buying $200,000 to $250,000. But when your iBuyer, Open Door, Zillow, whatever, comes in, buys a property at $250,000, then goes and sells it for $260,000, $270,000, they're now pricing out all these buyers. Or they're still causing 20 people to fight for it and raising the comps even higher because of multiple offer situations. This is a huge glaring problem. So this Yahoo Finance report comes out today and says, hey, they're done buying properties for the rest of the year. Quarter two was huge for them. They bought thousands of properties across the U.S. Here's the problem with that. They're not selling them all now, but they're still inflating the comps. They're still causing the prices to go higher. Okay, so what do we see here? What do we see going forward for the market? If the iBuyers stop buying houses, we're going to see a little bit of a shift, and we're starting to see it. A little less leverage on the seller's side, a little more leverage on the buyer's side, right? There's more properties on the market. There's not as many buyers right now. It's still pretty hot. COVID has still flipped everything upside down, but it's the fall. You're not seeing as much going on. And we've seen this with multiple colleagues and partners in the Houston area and in other markets. The lull is coming, and it's a little bit slower than it was, but it's still pretty crazy. So Zillow, all these iBuyers, they're done buying for the rest of the year. So that's going to give your average person a little bit more of a shot, but that also means we're not going to see this inflation continue to go through the rest of the year. So wanted to bring this to your attention. This is a huge deal. It's absolutely important that we stop selling to these iBuyers, because in reality what happens is you're going to see the inflation continue. And people, your average person can't afford to continue to go with this inflation that we've seen since COVID started in home pricing. It's just not gonna be able to happen. So, wanted to leave this with you. Brandon Snyder is selling with the Snyder Group. If you want to list your house in the greater Houston area or anywhere across the U.S., we can partner with you to do that. Trusted real estate team here, and any of our partners across the U.S. we can get you linked up with as well. Or if you want to buy a house in the greater Houston area, like, hey, I'm tired of fighting 20 people in a parking lot for a house, we can help with that. Give us a call.